Today is August 11th, 2025. It is 6:30 on the dot, and I'd like to call the meeting to order. Joe, can you start a roll call?
John are here.
Reyes here.
Jones here.
Church here.
Leonard here.
Okay. We have, pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we need approval of the agenda or any changes or modifications. Go ahead, Clark.
Okay, I have a couple. Last month, Mr. Todd Jones from the Lakeville Management District gave his presentation at the podium in public comments. I would like to say that somebody who has a report in the consent agenda should be given a chance to say it sometime other than public comments. I thought trying to condense his 4 minutes of Lakeville Management, I know he had other stuff, but I really think that he should be allotted the appropriate time to share his information if he has stuff other than what's in the packet.
He was reporting on the buoy status, was what his public comments were about. I think he said that his report was in the packet and it would go as listed. So I mean, anyone here can pull something out if they need to, but the whole point of the consent agenda is if there's a report submitted and they stand by the report, there's no need for them to have to get up then. That's the purpose.
Well, I thought that him trying to condense whatever he was trying to say in the 4-minute time, based on the fact that it was primarily Lakeville Management District stuff, should have been offered him regular time. I believe that would have been easier for him to present and the public to understand too. So,
Okay.
just a thought.
Maybe we could look at that on an exception basis. Like
I mean,
if one of
anybody who's
us,
got a report in here.
if they let us know ahead of time that
Right.
there was something significant that they want to have some time on the agenda
Yes, I mean,
as an exception.
that's fine. The whole point of the consent agenda is not to have to go through all the reports, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I'm not, you can do that if there's an exception voiced, but I don't know that Todd Jones voiced that exception.
I know he didn't, but I'm just saying it might be nice if we offered it to, you know, if he submits a report and says, I have some other stuff to add, I would just like to see him afforded the time to do that.
Okay, I don't see him.
He's not here tonight to ask.
There he is.
Well, there it is. So,
Tie it.
and anyway, my understanding was he was just reporting on buoys because that he wanted to bring that up to the public. That's all I know of. So I guess if there's an issue, we need to talk about it ahead of time to pull it out of the agenda.
I just thought that rather than having you try to smash everything into 4 minutes, that you could be allotted a regular time to present, and if you had more stuff that you needed to present.
Joe, can I be recognized?
Yes.
If you believe that is going to be requested, ask them to make that request, and then you can take it out of the consent agenda. I mean,
For that
we
month.
can't do anything about it now.
Right.
No, I wasn't suggesting now, but in the
Right.
future.
And Chairman, I think Supervisor Leonard wants to be recognized.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I thought that was an option when you put the consent agenda together, that if you had something to say, or if you wanted to do your report, you could take it out
Yeah.
at the beginning of the meeting.
The board would take it out. So if
Todd would have came to us and
would
said.
reach out to you and
Yeah.
say, hey, I'd like you to pull it out, I'd like to.
Yeah, I thought that was part of the option with the
I think that's
consent
possible.
agenda.
I think the intent of your presentation last week, or last month, was primarily to explain the 93 buoy permit, because you had just gotten it. That was the main reason for your presentation and the public comments, correct? Yep. Okay.
I just
So-
thought you were trying to fit it all into 4 minutes.
And the thing was just okay.
Okay.
All right, I'd like to make motion to approve the
I'm
meeting.
not done, sorry. I also would like to suggest that we table discussion of the employee handbook. I was thinking, I really am impressed by the amount of work that was done, but I think that should be handled in a workshop setting where employees can also weigh in, and that we could look at more than just the town of Troy's employee handbook to consider what would be best for our town.
I think, oh, sorry, yeah. That, I think that was the message that was conveyed, that we would need input from the different employees, and on the agenda is schedule a workshop. And it sounds like you have input that you could cover in section 10A, the considerations
Right, this wasn't intended, I don't think,
to accept.
to accept it or discuss every page within the manual. I think it was
Right.
a general overview of what was done, and then we're down here to schedule a workshop meeting for the discussion. So
Okay.
I think we're still
On
okay.
the same page.
All right. Any other agenda modifications or updates? Okay, motion to accept the agenda as written.
Second.
I think it was calling for the motion.
That's fine, I can go ahead and make the motion. to-
Yeah, you just made it, so.
So,
Second.
any other discussions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay. It is approved. Clerk Buchanan, did we meet all the requirements for open meeting law for public information or
Yes.
notifications?
Yes, we are in compliance with open meeting law.
Okay, so we didn't pull anything out of the consent agenda. I did submit my edits for the meeting minutes to Deputy Clerk Loth through an email. So I did give mine, and I recommend everybody else do the same thing. But I think what we're going to do is vote on everything in the consent agenda. Do I have a motion on that?
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, any other discussion?
Chairman, I did notice on one of the planning commission resolutions, the last one, the resolution approving a shore yard variance. My only question was, in the second full paragraph, it reads, it will open the viewing corridor from 55% to 36%, and I'm wondering.
That's not part of this consent agenda.
Is that?
Oh, it's not?
No, I still report on the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's separate, that's outside of
The
the,
8D,
Consent agenda.
the way at the bottom.
Okay.
okay, so I don't even know where we
We
ended
have a
up.
motion.
We
A
have a
motion and a second.
And a
Who was the
second.
second, please?
Michelle.
Oh, thank you. I got it.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. So now we are to the clerk treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report for July 2025. Total receipts were $83,721.41. Transfers were $347,000. Interest earned was $586.16. Balance as of June 30th was $1,780.80. Total funds for July were $433,088.37. Checks paid in July were $400,470.99. Balance in the general checking at the end of July was $32,617.38.
Okay, do we have a motion? Any questions? A motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Town of East Troy Treasurer's Report for the month of July 2025 as presented.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Treasurer's report accepted. Any other questions on the clerk treasurer's report summary?
No, but I would like to make a comment.
Okay, right ahead.
I would like to commend the clerk, Ms. Buchanan, for being one of 12 polling places to earn a perfect accessibility score in the last election. You were one of only 12 in the state. The Wisconsin Elections Commission reviewed 477 random polling places, and so I think that that's a significant accomplishment. Nice job to you and your poll workers.
Thank you. But it's definitely a team effort because the DPW plays a big role in how we set up and accessibility and everything. So.
No, I agree. Go right ahead.
I had a couple of questions, just on the report, the verify and certify the outstanding levy balance from Quantico. Is that an annual activity?
Yes.
Just out of curiosity. Okay.
Yeah, they're auditors, Gateway, East Troy, Quantico, and Burlington too.
The other thing that I thought of, when's the John's Disposal renewal coming up? I think we should look at doing an RFP. I've had some service issues of late. They've been hard to get a hold of. We've had them forever. There's other service providers. Wondering when the timing is on that contract.
I think they have a couple more years.
I think so
I
as well.
thought we just extended them last year.
I think we did.
Yeah.
As
Last year.
Mm-hmm.
John's.
If you have, I never have a problem reaching them. I email their front office, I get immediate responses.
They don't have, when you call, it just rings and
You
rings.
call us, we take care of it for you, which is what all the other residents who have issues do.
Well, the website directs,
Don't we do?
the website directs me to go to them direct. So that's what I did. And it rings and rings and rings, and then it says, I didn't catch it. You can send us an email, and of course I was on the
Yeah.
speaker and didn't catch
And
it.
I must say, usually we email and get immediate feedback.
I've called and not had problems, so
Yeah.
Should the website be updated?
I wonder if they have some changes in their staff, because, just as a side note, we had them pick up in the morning run on the recycle week. They picked up our recycle instead of our garbage. So then when they came around to pick up the garbage, or when they came around to pick up the recycle, my garbage was all that was left, and they wouldn't pick it up because it was the recycle truck. And then the next time, they did the same
Have them in
thing.
the right spots and all that?
Always. My husband is ridiculous. Always. They're separate, yes. The next week, they did the same thing, but they realized it while they were there, and they backed up, and then so they took both the recycle and the garbage in the garbage.
Oh, you need to let me know that so I can.
Well, I called them and said, are you gonna pick it up today or tomorrow? When the garbage said that's fine, but, yeah. And then backing up, and, yeah.
Okay, the only other thing, Joe, the social media policy, do you need an electronic version?
Yes.
Can you do that so that?
They gave us print, I think she gave us printed.
Yeah, I know, but he works off the electronics, and I think that's one of the reasons why things get delayed. Thank you. Anything else with her report?
I was just, the budget, we're kind of at the 50% mark, because it was as of the end of June.
Yep.
So I was just taking a look at things like if we're at the 50% mark, or things that are low, but I guess we can review that in the budget workshop.
Well,
There's
and
maybe
you have to
opportunities.
remember, some things are paid at the beginning of the year, so aren't there 100%. Some things, yeah.
Exactly,
Some
yep,
months, like, retirement is always a month behind. Health insurance is always a month ahead, so you're always gonna see variances there.
as water patrol was pretty low, I guess that's only May and June. But there's probably only July and August left, so,
Yeah.
but it's definitely less than a third.
Yeah.
Thank you for providing that.
Okay, I think we are at the public comments point. Please be advised, this first state statute 19.84, sub 2, information may be received from the public. Comments are limited to 4-minute periods per person. Be further advised that there will be no discussion on the information received and no action will be taken regarding public comments. Upon conclusion of the citizen participation segment, members of the audience are not allowed further comment unless they are participating in a public hearing, which we are, and is specifically allowed by a majority vote of the town board due to involvement in a specific agenda item. And as we've been communicating all summer, we're holding off for wake vote comments until the public hearing. We can get one scheduled where everybody can have a voice and everybody can hear it. I want to ensure everybody has a voice in that public hearing. Again, you are always welcome to provide emails or whatever communication to any board member or all of us. You're welcome to do that at any time. So with that, Richard wants to be number one.
No.
Always wants to be number one.
Rich Faust, N9349 Woodfield Court. Chairman Jones, last month at the meeting, you stated that you took 2 trips on Lake Beulah. One of them was a 3-hour trip looking at the shoreline.
Yep.
Second one, you said you were in a boat with some people, and a fisherman approached you in a manner with deliberate hostility. Were you talking about me? You don't have to answer that.
Go on.
I just want to set the record straight. That deliberate hostility was at 1.5 miles per hour with an electric trolling motor. I did not cut him off or them off. And if you would have reached out to me afterwards, I would have explained to you what I was doing. I was fishing. My wife was in the boat. I had no idea you were in that boat. And in the center of the lake across from our house, between the camp and our house, is a 8 to 9 foot hump that comes up. And day in and day out during the summer, we see an activity that starts on the east side of that, goes across it, blows it up. If people stay to the south, they don't hit it, not a problem. I wanted to fish that. And like I said, I didn't know you were in that boat. I wanted to fish it, and I thought if I don't get out there and they go across it, it's going to blow up. So if you would have talked to me or called me, I would have explained that. And a good leader always gets both sides of the story before accusing somebody of something. I hope this isn't a pattern you have. I hope you reach out more. As a chairman, you should reach out. You then observed an activity that goes on out there, and you stated that that activity created a 2-foot wave. It dissipated in about 50 feet. I want to know if you honestly can still agree with your statement after riding in a boat with me that created a 3 to 4 foot wave that no other boat on the lake can make, any other type of boat, and it certainly didn't dissipate in 50 feet. I'm sure you'll get to that later. I'm going to bring up a Wisconsin state statute, and this goes in play with the new PLB incident reporting form, which I appreciate the police chief getting with PLB and having something that we can at least just document on what's going on. We understand the patrol is difficult, and I think it's just the way police departments are today. It's tough to find cops. I mean, everybody's looked at, cops are looked at a bad way, nobody wants to take and jump in. But Wisconsin State Statute 30.68, hazardous weight, specifically prohibits operating a motorboat in a way that creates a hazardous wake or wash when approaching or passing another boat. So this falls into that incident report, and it is the responsibility of the boater, whether it's a bass boat taking off, and if I tip your wife out of the boat and she breaks her arm, or if it's a certain other boat doing an activity and it washes my boat or my wife falls. And the chief said, you gotta document, gotta get registration numbers, and you have to take I'm gonna film everybody. I'm gonna film everybody that goes by, and if anybody has a problem with that, read the First Amendment. That's our right to do. I'm not gonna report everybody, but if a boat goes by and that my wife breaks her arm because she fell, and I don't have that recorded, I got nothing for the chief. And the last thing I want to say about the fishing pier, and I know you're going to address this tonight, but really, kudos to you two, but shame on you three. Come on, you couldn't let somebody go talk to organizations about that. I know you're not against the pier, but if you guys can't handle the big issue at hand, and I know that you threw it at the management district, throw the big issue at the management district, let them make the decision, and you guys can then go on with your other stuff if you can't handle the big issue. Let the management district make the decision, and you just follow what the management district says on the big issue.
Thank you. Anybody else? Go right ahead.
Hello, I'm Beth Lanham, W1544 South Shore Drive. I'm also on the board of Protect Lake Beulah. We have all heard concerns expressed regarding unsafe boating behaviors and a lack of police presence on the lake this summer. Protect Lake Beulah board members continue to get fairly regular calls following weekends or regarding unsafe or after-hour infractions. We are all aware and very appreciative of the work between the town board, Police Gorecki, and the management district to attempt to identify long-term solutions. I repeat, we're very appreciative of that. It has sounded as if those long-term solutions might not take place until next year. Thank you for all your efforts, though. It is very much appreciated. In the interim, we became aware that several lake associations in Wisconsin had implemented an incident reporting system process, which they reported had been helpful. This would provide an avenue for people to notify someone of observed safety concerns. I met briefly with Chief Gorecki several weeks ago to float the idea of building a similar system for Lake Beulah. I showed him our proposed line items, explained that the incidents would go directly to the police department upon submission. The police department would then make decisions regarding any needed follow-up. And I verified the email address that he wanted such incidents to be routed to. After receiving his okay, we moved forward to build the incident report process. Last week, the process was ready to be launched. I emailed Chief Gorecki prior to sending out the blast email, alerting him to the fact that the process was ready to go live. I then sent the email announcing the new process to the Protect Lake Beulah contacts and members. I received some immediate positive responses indicating that, quote, we now have some process for reporting our concerns, and, quote, we have been concerned about safety and didn't have anywhere to report it. Much to my surprise, there were some negative comments as well made through social media. I guess I shouldn't have been surprised in our current political environment. This statement is to publicly assure all that this was intended as a cooperative effort to provide an interim method for reporting concerns, while a longer-term solution is being identified and implemented. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Go ahead.
All right, well, mine's along with Beth's comments anyway. So, since we've been talking, Mary Quirk, 15, W1522 South Shore, sorry. So we've been thinking about this, the water patrol, and how the East Troy Town Board supports the water patrol, but the LBMD doesn't support the water patrol financially. And we've been reaching out to try to see what other places do for boating safety. So we came up with two ideas, Barry and I, that this year Governor Evers has enacted the Boating Safety Week. It already happened, May 17th through May 23rd. And so they had all different communities were involved in this boating safety. So then I dug a little further, and there's a group called National Safe Boating Council. And one part of it, which I think is interesting for our lake, because I feel like there's a lot of bad boaters, and two, there's a lot of younger boaters now, like in the late 20s, 30s group, that I think they're learning from people that are bad boaters, and now they're becoming bad boaters. So anyway, this group has this, just one little part of this National Safety Boating Council has a group called Skippers Club for 13 through 19, and they have a water safety group. So anyway, put that all together. I talked to East Troy Rescue, and I know I was going to call Barb, but I didn't, and I was hoping maybe Barb could help me. Because you're the liaison, right? To the.
Not anymore, but I could help.
Okay. Well, I talked to them, and they haven't said no, but they haven't said yes. For 2026, maybe we could do something that week that the Wisconsin does the Boating Safety Week, and we could have something over at the station.
And also contacted the Coast Guard.
Yes, we did that.
I did too, independent of you. I did not know that you were doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And they sort of put me off for this year, but said maybe next year.
And yeah, well, that's what I got to. And just a side note, I've done a lot of fact checking. The 5 lakes really close by, Lake Geneva, Lauderdale Lakes, Powers Lake,
Delavan.
Yeah, Delavan, okay. Delavan I took out kind of, well, I mean, they all get money from their water, Lake Beulah Management District, their version of it. We don't get any money from Lake Beulah Management District, zero. I mean, they talk about it for 2026, but it's not on the record yet. I put Delavan out because they have a sewer system and it's a huge budget, but Lake Geneva gets like supporters, they get money from their management district and the town. Powers is mostly from their lake management district, and Lauderdale is both the town and the water district. Just food for thought.
Go right ahead, Turner.
Tom Van den Bogart, W2035 Beulah Heights Road. I'm the president of Protect Lake Beulah. I just wanted to announce several important dates that are coming up. On September 23rd, there's going to be an educational forum that's going to be held at the East Troy Community Center, and there's going to be 4 key topics. The first is going to be sharing the results that came out of the TerraVigilist study that has been done on Lake Beulah. Secondly, there's going to be a discussion with divers that have participated in multiple studies that have been done here on Lake Beulah, who are our friends from over at Booth Lake. Thirdly, there's been a new form of testing that has been done that we're going to introduce and show the data from that. And then lastly, there was a Minnesota study that was released, and we will have somebody coming and doing a presentation on that and talking about the implications to Lake Beulah.
Tom, you said September 23rd, I believe it's August 23rd.
It is, it's August 23rd. Thank you for that correction. Also, we have, our newsletter is coming out, and we would like to, we noticed that there's only one member of this board that's actually on our mailing list. And we would like to make sure that you all receive a copy of our newsletter. So I don't know if Kim, if you can give permission for her to give us the addresses so that we can make sure that you all get a copy, or I can pass us a sign-up thing around and you can put your name and address on, and we'll make sure that you get a copy of that.
You can also always send it to the town hall, and you can put it in your mailbox.
Okay, perfect. Our fall membership meeting is coming up on September 13th, and that is September, and it's going to be at the Yacht Club, and it's our typical election cycle, and I will be going off the board as the president. Steve Hunick will be taking over that role, and Brian Fonz will be stepping in as the vice president. And we also would like to invite Joe to have 10 minutes on that agenda to talk about anything that's going on for the town. Last time I put you on and you didn't show, we just scratched it. If you can let me know if you're in or out by the end of the month, I will put you either on or off the agenda based on hearing from you.
I didn't know it was on the agenda last time.
Okay. We also are working with the Wisconsin Lakes Association, and we are planning to do a spring environmental lake forum that's going to be hosted here in East Troy in conjunction with our organizations that are here, not just Protect Lake Beulah, but all of the organizations. And this will be a meeting where everybody who is involved in any of the southeast lakes that are now part of the Wisconsin Lakes Association would be included, and any of the towns that have lakes that reside within those areas. They usually get about 300 to 400 people that participate in this, and they're looking at hosting that here based off of all of the work that we've been doing on Lake Beulah, and it becoming kind of the hub of information for what's happening here in southeastern Wisconsin. So we're excited to do that.
When is that?
The date isn't decided. It's going to be in the spring. And then, as I go off, you've heard me talk about this before, as I go off of the board, I will be focusing on putting this coalition together of the different camps that are around Lake Beulah. We have 2.5 miles of natural lake frontage. There was something, Joe, that you said that kind of struck me to the core in your reading last week about the wake surfing, where you talked about just doing riprap and having that be a resolution. The fact that we have natural shorelines that make up 2.5 miles is wonderful.
4 minutes.
Okay.
Sorry. Anybody else?
Chad Wales, W2070 Beulah Heights. I just wanted to say that I had a lot of great feedback. We had a meeting about culvert from the channel side. I want to thank Chairman Jones, Todd, Lynch, and everybody else involved to get all that stuff out. We had, had a lot of, I put my cell phone number out and started getting a lot of text afterwards, and a lot of people appreciated putting it all together and getting that information. There was a lot of, well, this is what I've heard, this is what I've heard, so it was very helpful for everybody back there to kind of get on the same page. So I just want to say thank you.
Thanks for your comments.
There's still some plans over there, if anyone needs them, Chad. There's still some of the drawings left, if anybody's looking for those.
Smaller ones on the table.
Oh,
There wasn't anybody.
sure. I don't think you have to.
Thank you.
Okay, I recognize Supervisor Church for public comments.
At this time, I would just like to recognize Robert Zielinski, who passed away on July 28th. Mr. Zielinski was a town of East Troy resident, but he was really dedicated to serving the town. He was a dairy farmer in this area. He served on the town of East Troy Planning Commission for more than 45 years. He also was a poll worker for the town of East Troy for many, many, many elections. And of note, he also was a charter member and starter of the Burlington Fire Department. So if you have any recollections of Bob, feel free to come to St. Peter's on Saturday. His services visitation and funeral will be Saturday.
Very good.
Thanks.
Don?
John Stokes, North 31 Stearns Bridge Road. I'd like to make a few comments about Protect Lake Beulah. I've recorded a lot of their educational seminars. They've asked me to do it, and I had no problem doing it. I used to record their spring and fall annual meetings going back several years, and as of a year or two ago, their group decided that they don't want to be transparent and allow me to record there. So I asked the president of Protect Lake Beulah, are you guys recording this? And is there going to be a way to get it on your website so that I can get a copy of it and put it on my YouTube channel so I can keep the historical control stuff available for people moving in the future? And the president of Protect Lake Beulah, back and forth for 5 weeks, and he said, yeah, we'll get it. The guys, our guy that is recording that has a Zoom, he's in Ireland or somewhere overseas, and I asked 5 or 6 times over the course of almost 6 weeks, and I never received it. So I think it's very important, if you're going to be a group around the lake that protects the lake, that you should be transparent so that all people in the community know what you're doing. You're representing the lake. The lake is the community. These people that live here have a right to know what's going on there. And when you don't provide access, you don't provide transparency, it's very difficult for the people to understand what's going on over there. Now, I'm all about protecting the lake. I'm all about what they do for the lake. I don't have any issues or gripes there. I just find the fact that they aren't transparent there. Now, when I was at the spring meeting held at the Yacht Club this year, the Protect Lake Beulah board was verbally going after our current town chairman multiple times and saying things that I thought were inappropriate. Now, there was no recording of it to be able to document it, but I was there, I sat there, I listened to it, and I thought it was inappropriate. And there was one person from the board here there that day, and it was Barb, and nothing was said about it, but I think the behavior that they had that day at that meeting was inappropriate, because all groups around the lake need to work with the town board and is also with the county, and we don't have that. We have little pockets of people doing little semantical games, and I just think if you're going to be a group around the lake, be transparent or get the hell out of the business.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. We will move on to DPW report.
Not a whole lot. You guys all received a copy of my report. Any questions on it?
No, you're gonna go into the windows?
Yep.
Okay.
After the last meeting, for one of those, me and Supervisor Leonard sat down, kind of went through what everybody should expect as far as when they were bidding all the windows, so everybody was on the same page. We put a list together, sent it back, emailed it back out to the same bidders that we had from last time around. So far, we've gotten 3 of the 4 back, so we're still on hold for one more. I reached out to them last week, they said they were gonna get something to me by the end of last week, and I haven't, so I'll give them till the end of this week. And if we don't hear anything, then we'll move forward with what bids we have to sit down with one-on-one so they can come in and give us a presentation.
About when did the email go out to them? Was it June, or July?
No, it was
3 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Okay, I'm just curious, 3 out of 4 in 3 weeks, and what's that?
Yeah, the first ones we got back pretty quick.
Yeah.
With the updated list of what we recommended to them, and what the town would like for the windows put in here. So I'll reach out again this week to the last one, and if I don't hear anything back, we'll move forward with the ones we got.
We basically put a spec together so everyone was bidding on the same window.
Did you give them a deadline? Because timely response is usually a
We did.
factor.
We put a timely response would be appreciated. And
Oh,
I said-
you didn't give them a date? No.
A date, no. I physically then talked to them and say, hey, did you get the new specs? I mean, not just email, I want to make sure they got it. And said, we would need it by this meeting, hopefully.
That could be an indicator of
Yeah.
their timeliness. in that.
And with the last one, it very well could be. So,
I just want to thank both of you for putting the time into it and getting a detailed spec together.
So the next step will be if we don't get the last quote in, we'll give you guys everything that we have and try and get a one-on-one, me and Supervisor Leonard, with each of the bidders to come in and,
Unless you guys want them to come in front of you.
yeah.
I think if you narrow it down,
Yeah.
that would
Yeah.
make.
Are you gonna do like just a top level summary of the 3 comparables and where your recommendation is, that type of thing?
Yep.
And then we'll give the bids to you, we'll have them come in and do their little presentation with us, and then we'll kind of go through them and make a recommendation to you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
No, it's perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Todd.
We still have time to get it done this year, so we should be good.
Yeah, it's all budgeted money from last year's.
And we've got some special meetings coming up, so we could potentially review it for one of those.
Yeah.
Rather than waiting for one, if we have it ready.
Yeah, as soon as we can.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Chief Gurecki, I wanted to first congratulate you on your FBI certification, or soon-to-be certification. Did I understand also that Chief Runge was hitting some of those classes too?
He's completed all 3
Yeah.
classes, and I've completed all 3, so I'm waiting to hear back, which then the FBI LEDA will certify us as FBI LEDA agency.
Excellent.
Very good, cool. So be careful, everybody.
Start out with tonight, the pier permit submitted by Olivia Anderson at W1314 Beach Road. I spoke with Olivia today, reviewing it again, and we came to a compromise. So the drawing that you have has changed a little bit. We've agreed because of the overgrowth in the channel, channel is probably wide enough that they could put the pier 12.5 feet. But with all the overgrowth, it would actually block the navigable waterway. So they want to turn the pier against the shore lengthwise, add a foot on each side. So it would be a 6-foot pier, it would still give them 12 feet between the property line. And then they would put the shore station on that side. So instead of the pier extending out into the water, it would be parallel to the shore, and then the shore station on the outside.
Like almost an L.
Not an L, just a straight dot. So, is that correct, Olivia? Yeah. So, that would be the only change. I kind of did a doodle, if somebody wants to see it on my paperwork, so they don't quite visualize it. I did a little doodle on my sheet, so to look at it. But with that compromise and change that they were willing to do, I don't see a reason, and that leaves the waterway open for boats further down the channel to be able to get out.
That makes sense. This is 7.
I see right here,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
This drawing is.
That is not the scale, by the way.
It's in the channel.
It is in the channel, yes.
Does that make them a riparian owner or not?
Well, you're asking me a question that is like over here, I don't know. My knee-jerk answer is that they have property touching water, I would say yes.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
They can't cut weeds in front of your house. So if they can't get weeds in front of your house,
This way.
There you go.
I stand corrected.
But what is it gonna connect to? I'm gonna have to see this drawing.
Do they have to be
This is his
weeds in
drawing.
the ground
Oh.
or in the water?
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Do they have to be weeds in the water? They can't be above since there's overgrowth?
It's usually a pot plants, I'm
Okay.
assuming, but if you can't get, if they can't get their weed cutter in front of your house, you don't have a vote for the management, it's not a riparian.
Got it. Thank you for that clarification.
Okay. This is the water side.
I'll make a
This is
motion.
the land side.
Just a
Mr.
sec.
Mills is still conferring with Mr. Janner.
Sorry.
Okay.
On the new drawing, they are 12.
They're 12 foot from property line on each side.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just need the adjusted drawing for the records.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good to approve it with the updated drawing.
I'll have to look at the Google before I know if it can be scanned in as an official registration permit information.
So assuming that's correct, I guess.
Make a motion to approve the pure permit with an updated drawing to be submitted to the clerks for Olivia Anderson. W1314 Beach Road, PET 900004H2.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Thanks for the compromise.
Yeah.
For the month, I submitted in your packet 5,597 calls for service, total of 707 citations issued for the year. That includes traffic citations and ordinance violations. And then the next thing, I submitted to you an estimate that I got, came up in years past about putting a kiosk at the boat launch. This is the company that Lynn Township has used. We spoke to their salesperson, they sent something over, and this is simply getting it in there and putting it in front of you for you to review. I expect no action on it today, just get it submitted an idea, and then we can talk about it in future meetings, now that we're coming into fall and something maybe for spring.
Do they require the spares?
Well, we were talking about that with Todd. The spare stuff, if you notice, they give you a 25% discount if you buy it at the time,
Right.
which I'm assuming that are their typical things that go wrong. And so you wouldn't need to, but when your keypad goes bad, for whatever reason, you're paying full boat to replace your keypad, whereas if you have one, you got a discount.
A lot of times, service response turnaround is required based on a spare parts kit, otherwise it's forever. So that might be something we gotta.
So, like I said, it was just a proposal, I wanted to put it in front of you and bring it to your attention, that we do have options out there. This is not the only company, but the reason I grabbed them is because they are used by one of our local Walworth County municipalities. To my knowledge, there's nobody else in Walworth County using them. I know there's some over by Muskego Lake, that we've seen in the past, but nothing here. And I know up in Green Lake, where I spent some time, they have a kiosk at their boat launch also.
Can I ask a question? When the launch is full, I get that. If somebody leaves and there is now an open spot, how does the kiosk know that?
Well, the kiosk doesn't necessarily know that.
Okay, so what does somebody who wants to get into the boat launch, I mean, does the...
It's not gonna eliminate attendance. You're still gonna have to have an attendant.
No, I understand
working,
that.
so that's how that would be managed.
Okay, okay. I didn't know if it still, or...
Even Lake Township still has attendants working.
Well, I know that in Lake Geneva, you can park in a parking lot and if, I mean, there's a meter and you did that sort of thing. And I didn't know if this kiosk was in that same...
No, we're not putting up gates. Like, it would be too much if you like put up gates that wouldn't allow access and that type of thing.
I wasn't thinking a gate, but I know when I park in Lake Geneva, when I pay for parking, you know, in their lot, I go in and I park with a number, you know, it takes my license plate, and I didn't know if the kiosk was taking like a boat trailer or something, and when the, you know, if it's a fisherman, he might not stay the whole time, and he leaves, and then there's an open spot, and I didn't know if somebody could come in and pay again for that spot, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thanks.
Sure. Could be recognized.
Yes.
With respect to the increase in DNR boat launch fees, that's going to require an ordinance update, so we're going to have to put that on a future agenda.
That was my next item that I had, is found out from the DNR posted on February 2025, they've updated their fees that municipalities are allowed to charge. My understanding is our fees have not increased in some time. I wrote on the short side suggested increase in fees, 10, 15, 20, and 25, depending on the length of the boat, and make it round numbers. So I wanted to include that in the packet for you guys to review also.
Thanks.
So should we, go ahead.
Well, I did a memo that I gave you guys too.
Yep.
I think the kiosk would be very helpful for us. I just do not want a kiosk that we have to service and put cash in. 10 years in banking and servicing ATMs, we don't want to go there.
That has all changed in the last 20 years. I talked to my wife about that, and
You still have to put the money in and you have to take the money out.
I don't know if they'll give change, but I've taken the money out now, so it would be
The one
fall
you
upon.
get a quote for is the money one. that takes
Card,
money.
right?
What? You could swipe with a card, or if you showed up, you could pay cash. I would still have to go and get the cash and the receipt showing how much cash was put in and turn it into here,
And we
which would
still have to
give
put
the
change in it.
accountability.
We'd have to put money into it for change.
I don't know if it gives change. I didn't ask that
But
question.
if I come and I got a kayak, I'm a non-parker, $10, I only have a 20.
Same thing now. They have $10 and they throw in a 20, they gotta drive over here, and those ladies have to figure out. I didn't get into the weeds with the thing about whether or not it gives change or not. I know it accepts cash. I did ask for that.
And that's subject to future when we put this on.
Correct.
I was thinking that it would help, we would reduce our attendance. Help me understand why that wouldn't be the case.
On weekends, you're gonna want somebody there. It's a machine. And I would want somebody there because, number one, we don't want a free-for-all. So that keeps some semblance of order at the boat launch. And like we're doing it now, during the week, we don't have anybody, they're not overrun. Couple days during the week this year, because of weather, the parking lot has been nearly full. And that, but it's only been once or twice that I've seen, but definitely on weekends, an attendant just helps keep the flow going.
Well, and especially the way our boat launch is down by the actual launch for traffic control a little bit, is making sure that not too many are headed down there at one time. I know when I did with the boat launch a couple of years ago, you would hold people until someone came up with their boat and either left or parked, and then you could send somebody down because you were gonna have them two lined up. And because of the congestion.
And the attendants are up at the hut, and they do that now. They're like, I have 3 boats down there, wait until one of them comes up. They take care of the paperwork, and as soon as they see a boat come in, they're like, all right, you're free to go. And so an attendant just to monitor on busy weekends is exactly what needs to happen, even with the kiosk.
I recall. Well, they have to have a receipt on their dash, just like they did. Yeah. But I recall a couple of years ago when the attendants were getting some abuse and disorderly responses, so I thought,
Being married to an attendant, they have 98% positive feedback and 2%
well, a couple
negative.
years ago we were losing people because it was so bad. I remember the discussion.
So Channel Meyer stuff.
Yeah, when I first started.
Okay.
My hope would be that somehow we work out a clean boats, clean waters, because we really need one over there with everybody coming on and off. I think that would be a really good program, and if you can tie it in with this a little bit, maybe you're not adding.
One of the notes I had is that the town of Lynn gets part of the Clean Boats, Clean Waters money from their management district.
Right, so, and there's a grant program for that. We get 4 grant, well, 4 grand.
And Bob Rice is the guy to talk to about that.
Yes. We've been running it.
Is anybody else looking into it?
No. We've been running it for like, how many years? 8, 10? 20? So I didn't mean to get off topic here, but go ahead.
Any other questions?
So you're wrapping.
Just wanted to get a couple of things in front of you. I knew there was not going to be any action taken on the fees and the kiosk, but if we bring it up and bring it before you, we have time to discuss it and get things into place for 2026.
Yep.
One last thing, Todd, I saw like there was drawings for the concrete pad and things like that, but then did I see a picture of one mounted on the side of a building?
I believe there's different ways that they do it, the photographs. I don't know if that building would support that. I would think standalone would be better.
I think if you would put it on a building too, you'd be more worried about more of a backhoe on the road versus if you put it in further where people can fully pull in.
Yeah.
Versus getting back up on the road.
Yeah, back up on Wilmer's Grove, the ugly.
Which there's electric and everything there that can support it.
Okay, anything else?
I have nothing.
I think we can look at some of the costs, right? And if we could reduce some of the attendance or things like that and make the business case, pull all that data together.
How do these two things come to the board then? How do we do that? Is that one of us does some individual stuff and then brings it, or how does that?
Budget, put it in the budget workshop?
It would definitely have to go during the budget, whether we can even afford to purchase the kiosk.
So we don't have to have super solid numbers, we would have this type of thing would be enough for that. And then for the ordinance on the fees, that is just.
Authorizing Jim to do that.
Right. So that can just go on.
September.
Even on September, I think,
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for both of the suggestions. So now we're up to the fire department, fire district.
Okay, my report is in your packet. After our meeting, we did have a budget workshop at our last meeting. And basically, the operational costs are going to go up by $150,000, but the town's portion is going up around $6,200. We'll get the final number on the 21st at the budget meeting. the concern that I have for the town, can I have a couple minutes here real quick? Is over the last 5 years, the numbers are starting to skew a little bit towards the village. I think we've had this talk in the past. But like.
Population-wise, you mean?
Population-wise, calls-wise, going toward to the village rather than the town. So last year in 2024, for instance, well, first off, the town is paying about 52% of the emergency services district fund. But last year, the town had 78 fire calls and the village had 75. Now, the village is only paying, I think they're around
48.
Well, no, because you got Spring Prairie.
Yeah, which
That's
they're
18.
8.
They were at, what's that?
I thought it was 18.
So 52 plus 18
Eight.
is 70, though.
They're at 8%.
So
they're like 42.
42.
Somewhere in there.
Yep.
So 78 calls for fire in the town, 75 for calls in the village. On the EMS side, last year, we had 266 calls in the town of East Troy, and they had 476 calls in the village. And we're paying more than they are. So what I'd like to do, if we could, I'm not sure where to go with this. If I go to the attorney and we try to talk about rewriting this contract or whatever we have with the village, Mr. Mills, I don't know how that works. Can you explain that to me a little bit? Do we have like a agreement with the village? How does that work?
We do.
Is it something we can rewrite and try to?
I'd have to look at the last time that it was addressed and for what length of time it was supposed to be in existence.
Okay.
If you are proposing a change, we're gonna have to renegotiate everything.
Okay.
That's right.
I'm up for it. Is that, I don't know how to bring this, do I need to put this on the agenda for the next meeting to discuss and maybe, okay.
Authorize me to look into it, reach out, speak to people.
Okay. All right, that's all I have. And August 21st is is the annual budget meeting for the East Troy Area Emergency Services District.
And I don't think anything we're gonna talk about here is gonna have any impact on August 21st.
Correct. We went through the budget. It was, the operational cost was like a $6,000 increase for the year. The capital, we already pretty much know that we're gonna be spending a lot of money next year, so, with the ladder truck and all that.
What is if I could ask, what's the status of the ladder truck? Because I know the ladder truck was due to be tested in May. And did E1 provide you with a backup, or are you still using the old ladder truck?
Still using the old ladder truck. First Chiefs.
I saw that the ladder truck is due in March, but I wasn't sure if you were using the old ladder truck.
They are.
Or if it failed the DOT passing.
It's
believe
been
we're still
since the fire district started, it's been based on those 3 criteria. And now that we're worth, the village is worth like 600 million and we're worth 1.2 billion, that's why our portion is so much higher.
But I was at the budget meeting last year as a citizen, and I took 20 minutes talking about some of this stuff. And there's legitimacy in what's being said. I've looked at the numbers. I don't have my sheet with me, but the emergency ambulance stuff is about 1.4 million is what's being proposed. And the fire is like 200,000, okay? So the disparity is pretty huge between those two pieces. Everything seems to get lumped with an overall percentage. I want to see the breakdowns and see what's going on. So I think it's fair.
Local fire district agreements that are based on population, like their per capita, and then for number of calls, like a 5-year or 3-year average number of calls, which makes it more equitable than the equalized value piece.
Right.
Just saying.
I had asked.
That's why I just want to look into it. I mean, I think that we need to. It's responsibility of the township to do
And
that.
the towns looked at it probably, what, couldn't you say, Barb, more times than we can count? Unless you get the village to go along with it.
The numbers are coming closer as the village population increases. Their call volume certainly is evidenced by the data provided by Supervisor Leonard that their call volume is going up, and as that call volume goes up, their portion of payment or contribution to the formula will continue to rise. But we have a higher property value, and that's what drives the formula at this time.
But the property value is effective for fire, not for ambulance.
That's my opinion, I agree.
So-
And that would be
I-
nice if it was just on that.
We're gonna analyze this,
Right.
we're going to, because it's, it doesn't seem equitable, and it seems on a 5-year average, it could take 3 or 4 years to even get close to an average, that makes sense. So I don't, and we're 5 years away from a 2030.
Well, that's the other thing. The
Commission.
village has put us into, for this 2030, they're putting us into a commission because of their population.
But if
So
you
that's a
read-
whole
If you
nother,
read the agreement says that the Board of Trustees operates as a commission. So part of it is that you are already operating as a commission, although the only certified commissioner has no longer been part of the district. So.
But a commission is a separate taxing entity, from my understanding.
Are you sure they're not talking about creating a fire and police commission?
yes, they are,
They are,
Okay.
and
So
it's
I-
not a separate.
because of the population of the village.
But that won't happen until 2030.
30, right.
30, but the
Well, that's
issue is we're
5
5
years
years
away.
away.
Yeah.
We're 5 years away, and there's no need to sit here, but we know
Pay
what's
more than
coming.
our fair share for the next
Right.
5 years.
We're not gonna do that. We can talk about what's real and fair, and we'll have those discussions. So I agree, we'll do that. Any other thoughts on this? Couple things, when we talked early on, about 3 or 4 months ago, one of my concerns was ETA SD doesn't have a website, doesn't have a presence. I can't see who the board members are when I go online. Is there
Our
any
link
pro-
on our page goes to nothing, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Any progress, or can you report maybe in the future?
I can. I can tell you that I've been on, 3 months now, so, I've been trying to feel my way around a little bit. The new president, if there isn't anything to talk about, it's over. Our last meeting, I think, was 2 minutes and 58 seconds long. So, I will going to start putting stuff on the agenda to talk about.
Okay. Yeah, and then training and leadership, team building with the volunteer group and the professional group. I know there was tension there. I think just we need some work in that area to build that whole thing up, and I think that's a positive training opportunity. So I think they're already 5-year planning. But anyway, just a few things on my, in my sites. Anything else for fire?
Thank you. Fun stuff.
Yeah, thank you for the budget report. Now we're in the planning commission. Supervisor Reyes.
Yes, we met last Wednesday, August 6th, and we had 3 cases presented. We did approve all 3. The first was Mr. Burns presented in front of us. He is extending his deck on the back of his house, but also making some other adjustments, so the impervious surface is actually being reduced in total. He is still within the setback requirement. So the planning commission reviewed it, and all looked reasonable. His not impacting his neighbor's line of sight, those kind of things, met all of the requirements. So the planning commission approved it, and so I would make a motion to approve the planning commission's recommendation for the variance for PWW00013 at N8728 Wilmer's Point Lane, David and Lucia Burns, per the reasons referenced in the planning commission's resolution.
Second.
Attached.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The second case that we had was a request to update the 2050 comprehensive plan, which goes to the county next month. And this is for Jack Schaefer's property on Bell School Road. Again, this is just a change to the comprehensive plan. They would still have to come back for any zoning requests and in order to split up the lots at all. So there is, like we said, a timeline. The county sees it, these requests only once a year for the 2050 plan amendments. Again, it was reasonable. He has to come back for more details. It's just changing, it was like 8.04 acres from A prime to AG2. So then I would make a motion to approve the planning commission's recommendation for the 2050 plan amendment for PET 3600003 at N4780 Bell School Road, Jack Schaefer / Honey Creek Trust owner, and Tony Zanon, Pinnacle Engineering Group, for the reasons referenced in the planning commission's resolution.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And the last case that we had was Michael Gerton. Applicant was looking for a variance on their property. They are removing the boathouse and then changing it to, they're making the boathouse smaller and then having a patio. And that was presented, as Jim was mentioning in the beginning of the earlier in the meeting. I think there's just, the numbers are maybe either reversed or a typo in the second paragraph where it talks about opening the viewing corridor, because it says from 55 to 36%. But again, they're not changing the impervious surface. It does give better line of sight. And their boathouse was more in the middle of their property, and by making this change of only taking up a portion, it'll make it more closer to the end of the lot, like the rest of the neighbors. So I would make a motion to approve the planning commission's recommendation for the variance for P0P00010 at North 9114 Oakwood Lane, Mukwonago, James Humbert Jr. and Benjamin Trevino, owners, and Michael Gerton, Deep River Partners, applicant, per the reasons referenced in the planning commission's resolution as modified.
Second.
Mukwonago.
Yeah, their address is
Oh,
actually.
okay. This says East Troy.
Oh. Yeah, in the, up here it says Mukwonago.
I'll go and change that.
Yeah. It's Mukwonago, right?
Yeah, Oakwood is Mukwonago.
Yeah, I second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
So that needs to be updated on there, right?
The two things on the
Before it
third
goes.
one, yep, the last one.
Okay. So, now we are up to unfinished business. I have a couple of things related to the Lake District, LBMD, A and B under 9. Before I get into them, I'm gonna pretty much let my reports speak for themselves. I'm not gonna go through these in detail, that's why I put the reports together. But in general, I wanted to generally make some comments about what we're doing on this whole wake enhanced voting request, lake damage request. Over the past few months, many in our community, particularly members of PLB, have called for a ban on wake enhanced votes. Alongside those calls have come repeated public accusations that the town board is showing a lack of interest or response to this issue. I want to set the record straight tonight. The board has been actively engaged since my first day in office, and even before actually, and we've taken significant steps to better understand the situation, gather the facts, and lay the groundwork for responsible action. This evening, I'm going to briefly summarize what has been done, explain where we are now, and outline the path forward. The board's actions since May 25. Here's a partial list of the actions we've taken in the past 3 months plus. In March 29, I personally attended a PLB presentation alongside other board members. So that's well in the campaign season. On May 12th, I outlined statutory obligations and specific organizational responsibilities for the town. I provided that. It's a link on the website. On May 12th, I also created a framework for the Lake Shoreline Conservation Committee to explore the issue. Unfortunately, that wasn't received very well. On June 9th, I provided a detailed summary of the DNR process for creating ordinances and placing waterway.
Maybe recognized?
Sure.
I think this should have been noticed.
Oh. Okay.
Is it not noticed?
No.
It's a summary. Okay.
But if it's not regarding a public fishing pier, the wake testing project done by Terra Vigilis.
It does eventually get there with public fishing piers, but I can notice it for next meeting if you want.
I think the calendar of highlights would be best noted on next month's agenda. That way you may reach more people too if they want to hear what exactly has been taking place.
Sure.
We might have a bigger crowd here.
Okay. Then let me just go through a quick overview of what we've done. The thing I wanted to point out with the public fishing piers is there was general displeasure with how the board voted on the public fishing pier issue the last time. And it wasn't because there's a lack of sensitivity for having a public fishing pier. What the discussion was about was authorizing someone to do further investigation with board authority. And all of us up here can investigate something just like a private citizen can investigate something. So what happened when we voted to allow the Lake Beulah Management District to look into this first, I put a lot of summaries in here as to what we think, what the actual parcels were and what the DNR allows, and they do allow public fishing off the piers at the boat launches, but our ordinance does not. And if anybody's going to try and do that at the public fishing pier, they really need to look at health and safety and everything. What I was happy to hear is I spoke with 2 people, Chief Gurecki and Todd Jones, and I understand there's been I guess for the lack of any other term, it's a gap. It's a sliver of land that actually touches the boat launch area. and that could possibly be used for the pier. So I think that's being looked at. It's part of the road system. Why you can't find it, it's not a parcel. It's part of the road system, so you gotta click the road to kind of see it. Very, very interesting why it's that way. But the point being is, in 30 days, bringing it to the right people and have people discuss it, we sort of have a possible solution. You also have the tools to deal with, it sounds like there's tires and stuff out in front of there, and look at this whole thing, you've got the tools to deal with all of that. The one suggestion I was thinking is, from a park committee standpoint, that's another town, it would be a town property, much like the 60 acres we have. If you wanted to try and offer support to that whole thing, it could be done in the park committee. That was my only thought for bringing this up. I thought it was a success story, I wanted to present it. I put a summary together for any other comments or thoughts on that agenda A, 9A? 9B is the Terra Vigilis study that took place on 7/23. I spent all day out there with the group. I listed some of the people I knew. It was very hard to know everybody that was out there. The test criteria was 3 passes, 3 paths at which a multitude of boats, 4, 5, 6 boats, passed through 3 times at 15 foot, 20 foot, and 25 feet. Another testing took place at 200 feet and 500 feet from shoreline to study wake impacts on the shoreline. I guess at this point, I question some of the testing. We already know that shallow water will yield damage when you put wake boats or any other speed boat, even a pontoon boat, will cause damage in shallow water. The issue is about the 58 feet of water that exists on Lake Beulah, and is there issues if you're operating in those depths? That's really where we're trying to get to. And then the shoreline work that I saw, the wake enhanced side was towards the shoreline, which I was told directly by the people that I went out with, that you want to point that away from the shoreline, and you definitely don't want to do it at 200 feet. That's where the buoys are supposed to be placed. But anyway, so the only other thing as part of this, there was a report, I think there was a discussion about the St. Anthony University of Minnesota Phase 2 report. I saw it, a summary, a conclusion that was provided by a local network station up there. And they basically indicated that all boats, the testing, Phase 2 clearly says a lot of boats can cause damage in shallow water. The main issue is to be in as deep as possible. That's the kind of thrust. And they even threw out some rough numbers of 200 feet from shore and 20 feet or deeper water, which did seem consistent with other reports I've seen before. So hopefully we'll get a summary. I think we're going to see that at the meeting coming up. Yeah, excellent. So we'll see what they have to say there.
I just want to say thank you. This was very helpful for those of us that work full-time and couldn't be out there during the day, to give us some background on it, and looking forward to the August 23rd presentation.
Barb and I both were sweltering in the heat out there, so it was a hot day. So, any other comments or on 9B?
So did they get GPS coordinates of this?
I haven't seen it, I don't know. And I was in we bounced around from boat to boat, so I wasn't in the primary orchestra.
Okay.
Where the maestro was orchestrating the whole thing, so I have no idea what data's been accumulated, but
Okay,
hopefully
okay.
we'll see it.
And then film of the 15, 20, and 25? Perfect.
You mentioned earlier, I think you said like 6 scuba divers, right? Or someone mentioned four? You met, so, Sean and Bonnie, obviously I know.
Sean and Bonnie, and there were 2 others.
4 divers.
Yeah.
And the other 2 were not local, or? that you were- Okay, thank you.
Any other comments on that test? Hey, no? Did you have a good time?
It was highly interesting.
Yes. We did, yeah, and one thing to note is we did have even people visiting from Whitewater. There was a town, I didn't get their names, but there was a town supervisor and I think a Lake District person. Oh, in Wapak, okay. Again, hard. There was, how many people, 30?
Right.
30 or better? So- And there was probably 10 boats with everybody in it, so it was really hard to get around and see everybody.
Everybody was invited.
Yeah, good. So if I'll move on to 9C, I am not going to read this, Chad. I did a summary of kind of my personal notes of what we did at the public hearing. Generally, it went an hour, and one of the things that I thought was pretty nice is a lot of people walked away with beach-sized drawings of what's going to happen. They were able to study the increase of 4 feet in the width, and it went to 17, so what are we thinking, up to 10 or 12 from where it is at 7 now?
It's a 1.5 higher, the lake department will change, it'll be about a 1.5 higher.
Okay. So generally, I think everybody walked away feeling as though everything was done to maximize that design, keep the costs within limits, and give the residents what they were looking for. So any comments or questions on the Beulah Heights?
The timing will be after Labor Day. We need DNR approval. Yeah, Todd's working closely to get that.
Craig Webster today, but unfortunately he was busy in Waukesha County today, so.
Joe, maybe you recognize.
Yes, sir.
Was there any damage over the weekend with all the rain?
We got a half inch.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all they got down there?
It like missed
That was mine.
this area.
Okay.
About 2 inches.
A lot of it.
Overnight.
Not 11 or 14. Okay.
Cats and dogs.
Did they say, how many pieces does that come in? Like, how does that work?
It will be fit together in numerous pieces to make the overall
So we don't have to worry about a 70-foot piece
one
making.
piece. No, just that side of it,
Sure.
I
That's all.
mean, they are extending the length of the culvert.
Yeah,
almost-
70 feet, I know.
Almost doubling it, so they can taper it down and have less of this embankment problem. Plus, they went to 20 foot 3 inches long, so now it's classified as a bridge.
Yes, that was big.
That, I think that was a good thing they did too. So I thought a lot of good things came out of it.
Need to do that for Beulah Hills, you know.
Yeah.
Take that out.
No, it's, the road will be shut down, but there's a bypass, a single lane bypass that will be going through that piece of land over on that side. How that's gonna look, they gotta work it all out, but, right. But it'll be a single lane, it's not gonna support both. So, anything else? Okay. 10A, consideration of adoption of an employee manual. The only thing I think we were trying to do here is you were trying to just announce the idea. Michelle, or Supervisor Reyes has put a lot of time into the actual document. So do you want to speak to it?
Yeah, I just, as we had some consultants coming in, as we had, have like contracts coming up, there's been talk about if we have an employee manual, it's typically part of onboarding when new people start and references, things like that. So, I reached out to the town of Troy and drafted something. It definitely needs input from the leadership, the town board staff, to see if it's something that we could start developing the process with. And so I think we talked about scheduling a workshop. I wanted to give everyone the documents in advance, so they could review it. I highlighted what I thought were sections that needed input from each of you. And the police union, I'm guessing, would be totally separate, although they have similar benefits, right? So there may be things
I've
that.
got some other samples of handbooks that
Yes.
are very, a lot better than the town of Torrey's. So.
Yeah, that there's a first pass to start with something.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, there's others we can look at as well. So, just to try and add some documentation.
So I think it's a good idea to explore it. All the communities around us have employment manuals, so kind of silly for us not to have one. So I think we should be exploring it. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I agree, we should have some sort of employee handbook in place. I know years ago, we had attempted to work on even a sexual harassment policy, and that didn't get off the ground. So, certainly I think there are benefits of having a handbook, and I'm glad we're moving in that direction.
I have gone through your entire document. I have added commentary and other thoughts in those sections. There's a lot of things we need Attorney Mills' input on and others. Todd's, Kim's.
I'm
Chief.
HR, you might want my help.
Yeah, no.
That's what we said, yeah.
That's why it's being presented, so that we can
At
do
least somewhere to start.
What I did do is I handed out a little packet tonight to everybody, hard copy. I'm assuming I can just send that electronically if they want to store it electronically, now that they've got a copy of it. But all it is it goes through your summary, adds to it, enhances it, picks out a few other areas. The attorney that was used in talking to the chairman over there, the attorney that was used to create this policy, this employment manual, is Brian Hayden out of Von Bryson. They spent a good amount of money to have that manual developed, and it has a employment attorney's backing behind it. And so the thought was, if there's some adaptation of this, in talking with him, it would be fairly minimal to take this adaptation, make it apply to us. If we want to take sections out, it would be less expensive to us to do that, staying with him because this was his manual. So I'll offer that as someone we could possibly use, but we will have to make that decision at some future time.
I also think that since we have expended over $4,000 to get public administration associates who are reviewing our policies and procedures, I think it's important to get the report and build that into whatever it is that we do, since I thought that was why we hired them, for starters.
Absolutely, but.
I shared the document with them as well.
I would hope that was shared and they're going to provide input.
Well, it wasn't for me to share, and it wasn't,
No.
we hadn't done the meeting yet.
No, I thought I heard it was being shared. ETA, ESD also, there is in talking with, since we brought them up, there is a formula for how these things work, and there's like a gold star version of the formula that I think they're gonna be able to provide us. I don't know if it was Shorewood or somewheres that they discovered it's a pretty good formula for this, for our contract, our ETA, ESD contract. So I'm looking forward to their feedback and input. Anything else? Later, we're gonna schedule a meeting, right, for this, so.
Yes.
We'll do that later. Are we okay to move on to 10B?
Please.
Okay. I put a memo in here for 2.20.075 ordinance. It's an ordinance which has been in existence for 20 years or better. It specifies that any new ordinances shall be read instead of may be read, that type of thing. And so therefore, we read out loud every ordinance, and technically, we could be reading it out loud twice if we don't waive that second reading. So what I'm proposing is that I was approached by two people from Darien, one from Darien, one from Walworth board, and then I brought them up to the two chairs of the local municipalities, and nobody reads these out loud anymore, so I'm going to suggest we could save ourselves a lot of time by making some changes. So I made some adjustments here. Of course, they're subject to, your review and how it should come out.
Sure.
I think the spirit of what was written before, though, should be retained. There was 2 readings in 2 subsequent board meetings, so that there was enough time for people to have almost, 45 days to review these ordinances. Now that we're putting them in packets, people can physically see them and walk away with them. So I still want to leave it as we address an ordinance in 2 subsequent meetings, but we don't have to read them all out. That's where that memo is requesting.
Mr. Mills, can you advise us as to what's best practice?
I think years ago, that was best practice. But now that we have the packets available for people to actually see and read the document themselves, they don't need to be read to anymore.
Okay.
So I think this is not only permissible, but I think it's probably a good thing moving forward. I mean, that usually when I start reading is when the room exits.
That'll be faster.
The other question is, it says for new ordinances, and I know that was recently
Right, that's-
changed for the two different meetings.
Correct.
But what about all the other, when we just waived the second reading? Would this apply?
I don't think we're gonna have any public readings anymore.
No, there wouldn't be.
Amen. Can I make a motion
Yes, please,
that we allow Attorney Mills? Okay.
authorize.
That's on the.
I'll make a motion, we're allowed to act on this, right?
Yep.
I'll make a motion that we allow Attorney Mills to modify ordinance 2.20.075 to enact new ordinances not to be read at the meeting.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. The next one is revisiting 2.20.040 and 050, which we touched on early in May, I believe it was. We did some updates, and I don't know that we've had a couple months to work with it. There was also a request to maybe put ETA, ESD in the consent agenda. I don't know if you still want to do that, but that's available here.
I would like to, yes.
Okay. And then he would pull it out when,
Need be.
if you wanted to give some commentary. So, the two things that, two or three things that I want to try and address is, we were trying to have all board members have agenda topics and materials to the clerk prior to Monday well, I think we're working on by day's end on Monday.
4 o'clock on Monday.
4 o'clock on
If
Monday.
at all possible.
Bless you.
Thank you. Except for planning commission. Thank you.
Right, so what this says is 6 days.
You have.
I think that would be technically 5 days. So I'm thinking we should either update it to 5, or we should force everybody to get it in by Monday morning, open business. Not sure that everybody's
Why don't
happy
we
with that.
simply say by 4 PM the Monday, a week prior to the board meeting?
So
That's
it's
fine.
5 days.
That's
Which
fine.
works out fine.
Holiday.
Mondays are horrible days too. Mondays are just bad days.
So they're good days to have people submit stuff.
Yeah, and then on Tuesday or Wednesday, I can get it done.
So,
Chairman?
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. I don't understand the difference of getting it in by 4 o'clock or by 8 AM Tuesday.
It's the same to me.
But that, if we're talking 4 PM, we're done at 4 PM.
I know.
So as long as, if somebody does it at 5 PM on Monday night or 10 PM on Monday night, if it's here by 8 AM Tuesday.
Not 8:01.
Exactly.
However, Attorney Mills, however you want to address it. I just know that we said 6 days and we weren't honoring that actually, so it's technically wrong.
It would have had to be by Friday.
And not Friday, like the day before the meeting, the Friday before the meeting.
So
Yeah.
8 AM Tuesday.
No.
Right, that would be technically Friday before the meeting.
And as your second comment, appropriate attachments.
Yes, with appropriate attachments, and I think we've been moving in that direction. I think generally we've got attachments.
Slowly, but yes.
Slowly, but it's happening. Then the next step was for the clerk to provide the agenda with appropriate attachments to all board members by Wednesday close of business. I think that's 3 full days prior to the meeting, right?
3,
1, 2,
This is Thursday,
let's see,
Friday,
Wednesday,
Monday.
close
No,
of
it's only
business.
2 full days.
2 full
If
days.
it's Wednesday of business, then you've only got Thursday, Friday.
And
on
Monday.
Monday, can't count Monday, because you gotta have the agenda and all of that stuff. We post it on Friday.
We need it on Wednesday, by end of day, when, close of business Wednesday, so we can review it Thursday, Friday, Monday.
And what's to prevent you all from calling each other on the phone and discussing things?
Well, you wouldn't get the packet by Wednesday because.
A walking quorum.
Because-
Exactly. And that's what we need to avoid at all costs.
That's why we need the packet,
We're also adults.
so we can read it,
So,
right?
I mean,
And be prepared. That was the intent.
yes, that was the intent, so that we can have it by Wednesday. Now, the issue would be planning commission resolutions, they're not gonna be available on
Correct.
Wednesday.
They will not be available till Thursday.
However, they could be, the packet could be provided less
Minus, yeah.
planning commissions by Wednesday, so that we can
Right.
start reviewing this stuff.
Unless it's
And-
an
and
election
preparing
cycle or,
ourselves for
there's
that.
always things that could happen. Elections,
So I can say there's always gonna be things that could happen that would cause me not to have them to you by 4 o'clock on Monday.
Correct.
Or 8 o'clock on Tuesday. I'm not gonna take that excuse for myself, and I would hope I don't take that excuse from other people. Are we all?
so if I have an election on Tuesday and I'm here till 10 o'clock, you're not gonna get a packet on Wednesday. You're not. But that's only 2 to 4 times a year.
And we usually move the meeting too.
Yeah, we usually change the order
Yeah.
anyway.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are we gonna leave this the way it is? It's 3, does it say 3 business days here? think it says 3
I think
business.
you put in here, Wednesday, close of business.
Wednesday, close of business.
You could do the same.
Right. Wednesday, close of business would be good.
Tuesday, start of business.
And then the other thing, which I think everybody's been doing, is attachments for anything to be put on the agenda, so we can actually have something to review, investigate, and be able to talk about something intelligent at the meetings. Anything else relative to, that's 050, the written agenda. So, do we have to authorize Attorney Mills to make those updates?
Yes.
Ask one question.
Yes.
Do you have a set format for whatever it is that you want attached to proposed agenda items?
No, just information.
Okay.
I mean, if I say I'm gonna buy a new car,
No, I get it.
but I don't have a new car spec in there, I don't know what I'm buying.
I understand.
And so I've modeled, over the last 3 months, I've modeled all my memos explaining what we're trying to achieve and what the outcome I've been desiring.
Right.
From
Proposal, purpose, and
Right.
goal. It's probably enough for an attachment.
Do we need to specify that, or?
You don't even need to be that specific with it.
Right. So, for that, do we have a motion to authorize Attorney Mills to make those adjustments?
I'll make a motion to authorize Attorney Mills to revise ordinance sections 2.20.040 and 2.20.050. You don't
Okay,
want to go
for
together?
both. Yeah, we can do both, I guess, in one.
Yes.
Second.
Any other discussion? This is for the 050 written agenda items we discussed, and then prior to that, we talked about the ETA ESD report inserted in the consent agenda. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Motion carries. So, one thing that is new. I've spent quite a bit of time reviewing and spreadsheets and everything else, trying to, after our meeting with Chief Gurecki and Jason Roberts, trying to come up with some ideas for what options might be to enhance our police department to provide better enforcement on the lake. A couple of points. Since this all got started, there has been a couple of incidents, even on Potter Lake, that with wave runners running too close to skiers that fall in the water, and so there's been a little unruly behavior going on all over. And as of right now, the only lake that the boat patrol services per contract with the DNR is Lake Beulah. So Chief Gurecki is going to add the other two lakes, Army and Potters, to the next contract for next year. And so my intent when I put this together was to enhance service, yes, but also provide some level of service to Potters and Army. Army needing less, but if they need it, they can jump over there. There's a lot of logistics and stuff to work out with this stuff, but I put together 4 options in this handout that's in the packet. And it basically provides what the estimated DNR reimbursement is based upon how we assign officers. It adds a community service officer, which would be under the purview of the chief. That's important for Fourth Amendment type of issues. A private individual can't do that, an officer, a sworn officer can. So if a CSO is tagging along with an officer, that gives them a second set of hands. It also provides them the ability to bring in somebody part-time that's $20 an hour that can support this effort. He trains them, so it seems to be a good next step to add a CSO officer solution. And then as you get into third, the sheriff support was brought up as, they call it something, a slip shift, I think they call it. And it sounds good until you think about, do they have personnel to provide? And if we're having trouble having personnel, they're probably gonna have trouble having personnel. And if it's not a locked-in thing, are they gonna be hiring enough to be able to provide that solution? I don't know that option 3 really pays back very well. But you can kind of see, I said the estimated cost impact, I said the DNR reimbursement amount does go up a little bit. LBND did suggest at their board meeting that they would offer some contribution targeted at boat patrol. And so I did put a number in on each of these, and the idea was to try and get this to be maximize DNR reimbursement. Maybe one other thing we talked about is maybe maximizing our boat fees, our launch fees. That might help us with some offset. LBNB offset, and then the town would kick in the remainder, which is going to be 50% of an officer effectively for option 4. What that allows us to do is put a full-time officer dedicated to boat patrol. That means all hours for the DNR is straight time, so our reimbursement goes up to $21,000 or $22,000, which is what, what are we at? $6,000, $10,000 right now. So it really goes up quite a bit to maximize our reimbursement. So I'm just presenting it. I want everybody to kind of take a look at it.
Is this something that our representative can take to the management district? Get feedback, you know?
And it's okay in the packet, I don't need to send it or, okay.
Yes, I know the DNR has paid summer interns as CSOs. I don't know how they work with any individual municipalities, but maybe there could be some overlap there too.
Chief Gurecki, DNR doesn't reimburse for CSOs, do they?
That is correct. A CSO is not reimbursed. You must be a law enforcement officer in order to get wage reimbursement for the DNR.
No, these people work for the DNR.
As a CSO.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know that.
As a summer intern.
Yes.
Warden Roberts did mention that, but they're just like our CSOs. They're not sworn officers, and they have no arrest powers, but they do have them. I know Jason spoke about that at our meeting.
Well, maybe they'd be willing to lend help.
Does the DNR pay them, or do we?
The DNR pays.
Oh, see, I see where you're going with this, I like that.
As an intern, right?
If they would donate them to
DNR
us.
pays,
Yes.
no, CSO.
DNR intern.
So, I mean, we can add that caveat. I know when we get into budget season, that's when we talk about all this. I guess if there's feedback, I really don't know how to gather feedback from the general public, except take a look at this, provide input. There was a lady here the last 2 meetings, I think she was at the LBND meeting, complaining about officer deficiency out on the lake. It'd be great to hear what she has to say with this. Unfortunately, this is a budget impact, and it is a 2026 issue, unfortunately. But the objective is to try and fit it in this workshop. So feedback is welcome.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but Chief Gurecki, do you have a preference? Or should we talk about that in the workshop? Of the 4 options?
Yeah, my options, my favorite would be to add that full-time officer that's dedicated to the lake. From Memorial Day to Labor Day, finding a CSO or a part-time officer to go with that person is relatively much easier. And it also guarantees that that boat is out there the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the way that I've heard that the lake people want it. It's consistent. Obviously, downpouring rain with lightning striking the lake, we're probably not going to be on the boat that day. But barring that, you're going to see the most visibility. I could add 12 part-time officers, but as I stated, they all have full-time jobs. They all have family stuff going on. It is summer. Every single one of us in this room right now has summer stuff, summer busy. We actually have to find and carve out time to do some of the things we enjoy because we're not retired yet. The same thing is going on with part-time. So I could staff part-timers, but finding 2 part-timers every weekend over the summer to staff the boat is extremely difficult. Finding 1 CSO or 1 part-time officer to go with our full-time officer, way easier, a lot simpler.
Yeah, one of my
It's also
suggestions.
the most expensive, but it accomplishes the mission that has been voiced in this room for at least the last few months.
I think it optimizes all these other areas to offset some of the cost. I think that's critical. The other thing, Todd, is I don't know what you're looking for in the CSO. It could be a concerned citizen from around here too, couldn't it?
The CSO would have to fall under the same compliance that I would hire a law enforcement officer because he or she would be subject to privy to confidential information, potentially information that would involve a community member regarding things that that community member may not want the general public at the local drinking hole to hear about. So they would have to fall under my policies and procedures and the same background stringency that a law enforcement officer would. But generally speaking, you would be looking at Platteville, grabbing a couple of their juniors or seniors, 18 years old, that are taking law enforcement and hiring them for what I would consider a decent summer wage. And there's a few young men and young women out there that aren't out all the weekends and at home and the parties and they want to earn money for school. So those are the people that I would be looking to tap into for CSOs.
Thank you.
Very good. Thanks for everybody's help getting to that point. I think we have an idea of what we need for the budget workshop. Anything else on that at this point?
I call the question.
Did I
No action
recognize
to
you?
be taken.
All I wanted to do was, there's been a couple times where we've had call to question come up, and I don't think it's been properly utilized, and so I just want to reiterate how this works. The member is talking on the floor, and then another member has to be recognized. They state, I call the question. It has to be seconded by another on the board, and then there's a vote. And what was interesting for me when I looked at this is it's a 2/3 majority. So in our board setting, and Attorney Mills, correct me if I'm wrong, it would be 4 people up here have to vote in the affirmative to call the question and stop discussion. One of my major concerns is we come in here really prepared, so the discussion to me is the most important part of this. So if it's getting mundane and repetitive and argumentative, I understand. We call the question, and that's where you're going to get 4 people, I think, to vote for it. But if it's not, and it's a good exchange, I think that's what we're here for. So all I want to do is review this and bring it to everybody's attention so we try and utilize that tool a little better.
You're right, it comes in 2 parts. First, a recognition by the chair, so the person can make the motion. I think this is probably one of the most abused motions, because people simply think by saying, call the question, it stops everything immediately. Where there could be some confusion is our town code says a chairman must recognize any other board member, and it doesn't always have to be a verbal, I try to say, may I be recognized, but I know that's not always going to happen, so.
Right.
If there's a head nod going on that I can't see from down here at all times, I don't know if someone was recognized or not. But yes, I think this could have easily been something on the town board review that we'll be scheduling, but now I don't think we have to do that, because I think your memo summarizes that issue succinctly enough, it doesn't have to be covered again.
Okay, anything more on this one?
Well, I just want to say, I was recognized when I used that at last month's meeting. It was on me, I was recognized, I was talking, and after I was done, I called the question. Now, there wasn't a second, I don't believe. So it wasn't handled properly.
Right.
The intent is.
But I like that you did this, because I researched it as well.
Did you come up with the same
I
conclusion?
came up with the same exact thing, Chairman.
Gosh, what a
Very good.
So, now we're into the attorney's report.
Yeah, all three of mine involve scheduling a date with the board and possibly department heads for 11B. So the first issue, there was discussion regarding successor counsel and pending litigation. We need to look at that, and I've reached out and found a couple of different people that may be interested in being interviewed by the board. The next meeting in that litigation is not until October, and at that time it's a scheduling conference where the court will schedule deadlines to file motions to dismiss, motions for summary judgment. It's a procedural thing. Thus far, the court has really been taking the advice of the plaintiff's counsel with my agreement. Nothing is pressing at this point, put it off for a later date. So there hasn't been a lot of action since we filed our response. And the next thing scheduled is for October. I think now's the time we get something scheduled so we can maybe get someone on board early enough that, like I said, even though it's just a scheduling conference, I'd like to have someone on board by that October date. So, I have my calendar, yes.
What day in October?
If I remember correctly, it's early. I want to say the third.
Can we have a meeting with these people at the next board meeting and then make a decision on that?
No, because we'll be possibly getting into discussions of strategy. So would it be an open session?
Gotcha.
So this date is going to be when we meet successor counsel?
Yes, and at the end of the meeting, you might have a decision.
Okay.
So thank you, Kim, for putting the dates out here. I double checked all of mine.
I did too.
The only two I noticed was like September 17th and October 15th are potential planning commission nights. But otherwise,
Yeah.
So you want to pick a date?
right, you never know. Exactly. So it's not pressing, so June is like September 15th, or is that too late?
Yeah, actually, the 15th will work for me.
I'm on vacation.
September 15th?
I guess not.
Is there a way, what's the day before?
That would be a Sunday.
Monday
Oh,
the
yeah,
15th,
Sunday,
right?
yeah.
I thought the 15th.
He asked for the date
It's a
before.
worry.
Oh.
Yeah. And going 14 through 20. 21.
Anything the week of the 8th?
Why can't we do it at the meeting?
September
Before?
8th.
Can we do it before the meeting?
Town board meeting.
Before the town board meeting?
We could.
On the 8th?
I don't know the availability of the potential interviewees, but I would say we'd probably have to schedule it for 4:30. If we do it on that date.
29th?
No, the 8th of September.
Right, but, yeah, that won't work for me.
Okay.
Oh, you're talking about Friday the 29th? August 29th? Is that what you're saying?
Well, we have the 27th and 28th here. Those
Yeah, the
both work for
27th
me.
and 28th.
I'm wide open on the 27th, so I could do any time of day.
Yeah, let's do 27th, I'm down with that.
Yeah,
That end of the day.
I can possibly do that later in the day.
Barb, Jackson?
My mom has surgery the night before, so currently I am available, but subject to.
The 27th.
Yeah, my mom has surgery on the 26th. My availability is dependent upon her.
Can we do the 28th? Is the 28th?
I mean, right now I have the 27th and 28th open, but like I said.
28th would be fine.
28th?
He's not
I could,
available.
I could do afternoon, but nothing in the morning that day.
That you do anything.
Well, we would.
Or evening, I could do.
Right.
Yeah,
And
the
that's what-
28th?
We would do it.
I'm good on the
Because
28th.
Michelle and Joe and Ty all work, so it'd have to be in the evening
Okay.
on the 27th or 28th.
What would be the 28th, what time are you looking at?
I can do it whenever you guys can meet.
On the 28th, okay?
Yep.
So is that just for the attorney interview?
Yes. Unless we want to put something else on that
How long
agenda.
do you think that would be?
Might as well do the
Yeah,
budget
just an
workshop
hour.
right away too.
I would, depending on the number of applicants that can make it that day, you're probably gonna want at least half hour with each applicant. So if we have 3 or 4 that make it, it's gonna be a 2-hour meeting.
5 o'clock?
I say we start at 4.
Not happening.
Joe can make it at 4.
Unless you don't mind my son coming. I'll bring him with. Did it before.
He might have valid input.
5 or 5:30 work?
5's running it close, 5:30 works.
5:30 work?
Well, even if you're a little bit late, Joe, it's probably fine, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me.
5 PM?
Sure.
Michelle?
5 PM.
Checking. I'm getting there.
On the
5 p.m.
28th?
Yes.
Sweet.
5 o'clock.
Okay.
Can, oh, but you said that might be 2 hours. I was gonna say, could we do the manual the same meeting, but.
Oh, I don't
That's
think
2
there'd be
hours.
enough
That's 3
time.
hours, yeah.
And the workshop, would that be worthwhile at that time?
No, they're saying that.
I don't think there'll be time for that
Okay,
either.
that's fine.
Well,
That one, I think, now that we're a couple months in and everyone is getting procedure down, it's less pressing as it was months ago, so. The board could always reach out to me if they have questions about procedure, or what can or can't be done. So of the 3 meetings that need to be scheduled, if there's not dates in the next month or 2 even to schedule that, I'm fine with putting that off and tabling that.
Can we do the
After
employee
town
handbook
board
before the next
meeting in
meeting?
September, I'm in Peoria for.
I mean, we're just a discussion, right?
So,
September?
all, basically, mostly September.
Discussion.
Like an hour? I mean, we're not gonna finalize it, right?
No, no, I don't think it works.
Can we do that?
What?
Do what?
The employee handbook, can we do that like an hour before the next meeting?
Oh, I see.
Hour's not gonna be enough.
It's just a discussion.
Just
We're not
start talking
finalizing
about
it. We're not gonna do it in one meeting, are we? Finalizing this thing?
We can't
I
if
don't see
we're
how.
including
I don't
the
think it'll get done
administration
before
then.
associate.
No,
Right.
there's no way.
I think I would wanna hear from them too.
I,
And I don't know when they're coming back, but at least they
they
took
said
care
in
of it.
September,
All right,
or at least when
That's when the consultants come back?
yeah.
I asked them what their timeline.
We gotta push that off then.
Said I asked them what their timeline was, and their expectation was by the middle of September.
So, okay,
Which, you know.
It's a month.
You typically give the most outside number.
right.
And if you come in, you look better.
But it's definitely not gonna be in time for the September meeting to do anything.
I
with
don't
it,
know,
so-
because it's such a quick.
Cause that's like the proposals that I sent out, they came in like the day before the meeting, we couldn't do anything with them.
So, did we want to get something scheduled now, or do we table 11B and C? And pick dates on September 8th?
I'm good with that.
I'm good with September 8th. I just can't do the 9th and 10th of a factory assessment test.
Or if you want to come in early on the 8th,
Right.
you know, and just have a quick hour discussion,
You
we
mean
can do,
on
we
the
can do
handbook?
that, on the 8th, yeah.
what's our, are we talking about employee handbook?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's September 8th, 5:30 handbook?
Yes.
Anything else?
That's gonna be hard to,
If you're looking at
People
knowledge
coming in.
function,
Well, can we combine those two for that day? Because we're not gonna have the input from the thing for the handbook anyways.
Right.
Combine what,
I-
sorry?
The training and the employee handbook, because we're not gonna have the information from the consultants until the middle of September anyhow.
right?
I say we table this September.
Well, are we doing the 27th or 28th for attorney consultant?
Yes.
So 28th at 5, that's
28th.
set. That's solid.
That's solid, that's done already.
That's booked.
We need to have at least one budget workshop in September for our preliminary budget.
I'm good with September 8th. Yes.
That's our top board meeting.
We have to, we need
Do it an
at
hour
least,
before.
we need way more than an hour, not with the chief, Todd and I having to present.
So are we tabling B and C then, 11 B and C?
Yes,
That would be
please.
my suggestion.
Do we need a motion to do that?
Yes, someone make that.
I'll make a motion that we table 11B and 11C until the September 8th regular town board meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It carries, motion carries. Okay, so then we're into
Budget workshop.
the budget workshops and this activity. I have all my dates set up. I can't do the 15th, 17th, 18th.
Neither can I. Through the 22nd.
I can do the 22nd, 29, 8, 9, 15, and 16 in October.
I can do the September 22nd.
I cannot.
You can.
Oh, okay.
29th?
What about the September 10th?
Is the 29th getting too late, Kim?
The September 10th?
September 10th is early, but you have to remember that we have to have contracts finalized, negotiate all that before we can set the budget. I can't do the budget if I don't have salaries and wages. So, waiting to hear about the police union. They sent out ballots to the officers who are eligible to vote for the union, and that they have to have those ballots back by September 4th, and then set up meetings. Yeah, it's very tight, very, very tight.
How about September 29th then?
September
Is that too late?
29th, I think we should book stuff, at least, like the 20th, and I know Joe can't, but either the 22nd and 29th, that way we can throw those dates out to either having a budget workshop or having contract negotiations with the union and employees and stuff like that. So I think maybe if everybody just tentatively writes those down.
The 29th?
Yeah.
And the 22nd, or just the 29th?
22nd, and I know Joe's not available, but we might have to.
So as long as we have a quorum, we're fine.
Right.
Yes. And will we
Oh,
have?
thanks.
Hold on, I'm taking care of you here, buddy, hold on. So we will have like the contract ahead to know what the discussion points are, right? So.
I'm assuming that the new union will have that stuff available.
Okay, 'cause if we had that, then he could provide input.
Absolutely. And as soon as I would get it, I would pass it on to you all.
You have to put that on the September 8th agenda to approve that. Yeah.
And then the October dates,
Yeah, if I have to.
how do those look for people?
I'm wide open on all this right now.
Yeah, the only one was if we have a planning commission on the 15th.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm okay with those October dates.
So.
Anyone else? The rest of the board?
Yep.
October
Whatever.
dates?
October is
If I'm
fine.
here on Zoom, I can do that too.
So we have to put that on the
15th is a
agenda
planning
for
commission
September
day.
8th
That's
to
what I-
authorize
Sorry, didn't.
someone to appear by video.
All right. Is that something, are you gonna make a note to authorize to
For the,
allow a Zoom for next?
If
If it.
we meet on the
if-
22nd.
Yeah, if we have
Yes.
to.
So then, we need another workshop in October, right?
Yeah. The first one is always the nuts and bolts. I mean, the chief and Todd and I go through line by line. And then the second meeting is when you cut and we try to figure out how to make it work. So,
So is it, when is November is the budget?
that's
meeting?
when it's approved.
November 10th is the public budget hearing at 5:30 before the regular town board meeting. I have to have it posted and published by October 24th.
Right. So if it were the 15th, does that give enough time after the
Yes,
first
the
one?
15th and 16th, that's why I picked those days.
Okay.
All right.
Because the
That works
budget
for me.
notice has to go to the paper on the morning of October 20th.
So we're slotting September 22, 29, and October 15, 16 as workshops.
And 8th and 9th,
All of October.
8, 9, 15, 16.
Um, Right, all of October for workshops.
Yeah, those 4
So
dates.
whatever dates work.
Yeah.
All right.
And hopefully we won't have to have that many meetings, but you never know. So, and then, should I read the other meetings that are up on top, like I normally do?
Yeah.
September 1st, the town hall will be closed for Labor Day. September 3rd and 17th are planning commission meetings. September 8th is the next town board meeting. September 23rd is the tri-troy meeting at the village hall at 6 o'clock. October 1st and 15th are planning commission. And October 13th, I'd like to have the board consider moving it to the 20th. My son's getting married and I will be at the Wisconsin Towns Association convention on October 13th.
That's the board meeting?
Yeah.
The 13th would be the board meeting, but that's the same, that's the Towns Association convention, and there's election trading I need.
You want to move it to the 20th instead of the 6th?
The 20th, yep,
Instead of the 13th.
instead of the
Well,
13th.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you can move it either the 6th or
Instead of
20th.
moving it up, move it out, because she'll be at a wedding on the 6th
Yeah,
that week.
I won't even be back to East.
All right, I'm down with the 20th.
I think I can do it too.
I'm open.
I'm open.
Are you good with the 20th,
Yes, sir.
Tyson?
For Kim, of course.
Thank you.
All right, got that resolved.
Is that everything?
Then we just need Ty's motion.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Is that what we're calling it now?
Ty's motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
He said he had a goal to make the most motions